Well, it's that time we all wait for every week. The time when I call out to California and try and find Michael Snyder, and we found him, and you got him. He's going to tell us all about the Culture Report and what's happening in movies and otherwise. Hello, Michael.
Well, howdy, Alex, and a happy weekend to everybody. And, it's springy. It's out here on the West Coast. I feel like the essence of spring. It's sprung. It's good. It makes me feel good. I wish all the movies that are coming out this weekend were a little better, but we have a couple of really fine films that I want to talk about. And also, I want to tell people quickly that 3 movies we already reviewed when they opened in New York and L.A. are going wide, and they are of interest. Eye in the Sky is a contemporary thriller with Helen Mirren as a UK-based military officer.
Great film. Great film.
I thought it was fantastic. In command of the top-secret drone operation in Kenya that hits a serious snag. The Witch, wherein a New England family battles sorcerous possession during colonial times. And of the 3, the least of them, I Saw the Light, which is about the rise and final years of Hank Williams, the country music icon. Rather by-the-numbers approach to the bio, but an astonishingly good performance by Britain's Tom Hiddleston as good old hard-drinking, pill-popping, singing Hank. Man, Hiddleston is on a roll, I think. We're going to see more and more of him over the next couple of years for sure. I wasn't invited to see God's Not Dead 2, which is, I guess, a sequel to some Christian-themed and bankrolled movie that probably got him out of the pews and into the multiplex in certain regions of our fair country. And I was not invited to see Meet the Blacks, which stars Mike Epps as the patriarch of a black family who wants to move from Chicago to Beverly Hills. And apparently this is a spoof of the Purge films because he's terrorized by home intruders. Okay, real movies that I did get to see, worth talking about. How about this? Everybody Wants Some. This is such an entertaining film. It comes from Richard Linklater, the writer-director of Dazed and Confused, the Before films, Waking Life, and most recently, Boyhood. The guy's become one of my favorite filmmakers and certainly one of my top 5 working today. And Everybody Wants Some just enhances his status with me. I love this film. So sweet and honest and thoughtful and naturalistic in a depiction of the weekend before fall semester classes begin at a Texas college in 1980. I mean, I walked out of the screening with a big smile on my face. Everybody Wants Some gets its title from a Van Halen song of the day, and in this film we follow Jake, a bright, genial freshman who was slated to pitch on the school's vaunted varsity baseball team over this handful of days and nights. We are with him as he moves from one of the 2 houses designated by school authorities as the official dorms for the ball players. Actually, we encounter him as he schleps his crate of record albums on campus in preparation to move in. And in very lively fashion, he meets his teammates, jokes with them, bickers with them, parties with them at a succession of local clubs. First disco, then country and punk rock. And these guys, these student athletes, if you will, are smart enough to change their garb for each venue as they basically want to get drunk and chase girls. And it all culminates in the last night before school starts with a big freaky party thrown by the school's art students. I mean, we even see the athletes practice once before the end of the weekend, and the interaction of all these distinct personalities is fun and fascinating. It's kind of like, what can I call it? It's like the measured, non-burlesque flip side of Animal House. As with Dazed and Confused, which was, I guess, Linklater's first big film, he's gathered a really impressive selection of young actors who I think are on the rise or will be. And much like Dazed and Confused and the recent Oscar winner Boyhood, this film displays the filmmaker's capacity to see beauty and depth in the ordinary occurrences in life, and the exuberance and promise, kind of the uncertainties of youth, and the inherent comedy that often comes out of how heedless and randy young men can be. All that, plus you get hits of the day, and it fuels the nostalgia. So kudos to everybody. It's brought to vivid life, and special mention to the immensely likable Blake Jenner as Jake, Glenn Powell as the dryly witty, philosophical scholar athlete Finnegan, who takes Jake under his wing, and may very well, this guy may be the next James Spader, and Zoe Deutsch as the adorable theater major who gives Jake his first taste of college romance. Costume and hair people, well done. Nailed those occasionally odd and goofy fashions of that day. Oh, I really enjoyed this film. Have I gushed enough? I have. Okay. Miles Ahead is a kind of surrealistic biopic about Miles Davis, and there aren't many more figures in the music world that inspire more adoration than this guy and more controversy. So as a result, I think director and actor Don Cheadle might have bitten off a little more than he can chew with this. It's an ambitious, episodic look at this game changer, this virtuoso, and in a fashion similar to another recent movie, Born to Be Blue, which was about Chet Baker, one of Miles' contemporaries. This toys with the truth and specifics of events and the behavior and identity of certain people who are significant to this master of the jazz trumpet. I guess narrative isn't as important as the impression you get from the thing, and maybe is a nod to the feeling one can get from an improvised solo. Cheadle, who co-authored the script and plays Davis, makes the musician's self-imposed, drug-addled 5-year hiatus in the 70s the centerpiece of this look at the thin line between genius and madness. There's a conniving journalist played by Ewan McGregor who latches on to Davis to get an exclusive interview and goes along on a quest for a missing master tape that turns violent. Meanwhile, Davis has all these fevered flashbacks that suggest that the catalyst for his creativity as a composer and a player, well, the main catalyst, and the reason for his unpredictable behavior and emotional swings was a very stormy and ultimately broken relationship with the dancer Frances Taylor. It was the woman who served as his muse at a very fruitful point in his career. Ultimately, this is so erratic. I mean, it's as erratic as its subject. It zigzags all over the place in time and space, and for me, never coalesced into a real cogent portrayal of Davis. I mean, Cheadle is great, no question, but it never unearths the roots of this innovator's brilliance. And there's a weird coda with Miles back from the dead jamming with a bunch of other jazz luminaries that kind of clouds the picture. I really wanted it to be better than it was. All right, let's wrap it up. Standing Tall is not a new vigilante movie about Billy Jack. It's an acclaimed French drama and Cannes Festival selection about Maloney, a young delinquent who's coming of age, and the people who try to help him turn his life around. And it is a wrenching, heartbreaking experience. I mean, from the get-go, the protagonist is behind the 8 ball. Even back in infancy, he has a single mom who is like this self-destructive druggie and makes nothing but bad choices, wants to give up the kid or not, depending on her emotional tides. Catherine Deneuve plays the children's magistrate who takes an interest in the boy. Benoit Magimel is a caseworker who survived a bad family situation himself, decides to champion Maloney too, but all the good intentions in the world are just that. They're intentions when someone you try to help can't get out of his own way. Rod Parado is a young actor who's fantastic as the teenage Maloney who goes from decency to delinquency seemingly on a whim and seems inherently unable to control his troublesome inclinations. You don't know who or what can save this kid. There's all these questions of nature versus nurture, but the drama and tragedy are right up front. Directed and co-written by Emmanuel Bercot, who devastated me with this film. Well done, Ms. Bercot. Standing Tall, maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought it was great.
Okay, is that it?
I think so, unless you have some interesting movies or TV shows you want to discuss. There's a film called The Dark Horse that's opening that I'll get to next week. It's opening in New York and L.A. this weekend. We haven't seen it yet. In New York this weekend. We haven't seen it on the West Coast yet, but I will get to it. But it's got tremendous reviews, I think.
Yeah, well, no, I really don't have much of anything, you know. TV seems to be in a doldrums.
Well, yeah, Game of Thrones and Orphan Black are coming back for those who follow those shows.
I got so tired of Orphan Black last year, I can't believe it. It was a terrible year.
I'm hoping they bounce back. I love Tatiana Maslany. Masterclass in acting every week. And technology, because, she plays, 10 characters in this thing?
Something like that. I just got tired of it. Just really tired of it.
What about Game? Did you ever wrestle through it?
What?
Game of Thrones. I know you never liked the complexities and the
we binge watched the whole damn thing.
Made a lot more sense, right?
Made a lot more sense when you watch it binging, it's terrific. It's good. It's well crafted, and what can I say?
Well, one of my favorite police procedurals, Line of Duty, which airs here much later than it airs in the UK, is back as of last week in England. And man, oh man, I know that you and I will both tell people, be on the lookout on AMC for The Night Manager. We talked about it last week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great show.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's it. Tell them where they can find you.
Yes. So on Twitter, I am at Culture Blaster. So Culture Blaster is the key. And on Facebook, the Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page is there for your delectation. Listen to Alex and I discuss the news of the day, read articles, like it.
We will like it. Thank you, Michael. And I'm Alex Bennett, and we'll see you again with Michael next week. But right now, there's more GABNet coming right up.